Off-roading is not just recreational in India, it's actually a culture. And when Maruti scrapped their plan for updating the Gypsy, us off-road enthusiasts were left with a void. And to just fill that, Maruti Suzuki has introduced the all-new Jimny. Hello and welcome to Trash Park. This is Bharadwaj, and by the looks of it, you can know that we have certainly played around a lot with this particular SUV. It's time to tell you what this SUV is all about. Let's get started. The nameplate Jimny has been around the world for a couple of years. It started its first iteration in 1970, and right now what you see here is the 4th generation model. And for the first time, India is getting the Jimny, and we are all really excited about it because although the Jimny was there in the world since a long time, it was sold as a 3-door. But for India, what Maruti Suzuki has done is give it 5 doors. And with that enhanced practicality, there are a lot of stuff to cover in this video. Let us start with the very basic details right here. This is going to be available in 2 variants, Zeta and Alpha. Both variants will get manual transmission and also automatic transmission on offer. Whatever Jimny you buy, whatever variant, everything is equipped with the 4x4 technology that they call it All Grip Pro. And also coming to the color options, apart from this vibrant looking kinetic yellow, you get to choose 6 other colors when you purchase the Maruti Suzuki Jimny. Now with that basic details out of the way, let me get into the design. So you can see a very boxy silhouette right here, and up front you can see this vertical slatted grille along with chrome certainly gives it a very aggressive look. And to complement this aggressive looks, there is a dash of retroness with these round headlamps. Now the top end model comes with the projector LED right here, complete LED lighting for the headlamp. However, the indicator and the fog lamp that you see here are all halogen even on the top end model, and also the top spec trim gets these headlamp washers, which is unheard of in this segment. With that, finally the front end also reveals the fiber bumper that you see right here along with the lower grille. Certainly makes it look very apart, and if you're seeing this car in your rear view mirror, you'll certainly be happy about it. Now let's go to the side profile. Now coming to the side profile, you can continue to see those straight up stance of the Jimny. When you look at the Jimny from the side, your first attention will go to those 15-inch alloy wheels. Now this has been given so that tire will have a larger profile to give it a very comfortable ride, and with that you can also spot the flared wheel arches and also the running board right here that will protect from all the off-roading that you'll be doing on the Jimny. And also you can spot request sensors right here to get in and out of the car. There is a flip-up style door handle right here and a large electric ORVM. Along with that, coming to the back, you can spot the fuel filler cap and also a window which is like an aircraft style and opens up a little more space for the rear passengers along with the boot space right there. So that is the side profile. With that, here are some numbers to put things in perspective. The wheelbase of the Jimny is a dash over 2500 mm and it gets a 210 mm ground clearance. We have done a ton of off-roading, and I will tell you how the Jimny handled in off-road and on-road situations, especially with regards to that ground clearance. But that is the side profile, and also on the side profile you can spot a blacked out roof and a side mounted antenna right here. Now let's get to the rear profile. So before I talk about the design of the Jimny, I would like to bring your attention to the axle that is right there. So this has a 3-link suspension along with solid or rigid axles. So what is the advantage of that is you can see that the tire has been pushed up since it has a solid axle. To compensate for the traction loss, this tire is being pushed down. So that is how you can maintain a lot of contact while going off-road. So that is one trivia right here. Now along with that, we'll talk about the design. Again, you get a straight up stance right here as well, a boot mounted spare wheel. With that, the boot actually opens up sideways, the door, and also you get a request sensor right here along with Jimny badging, and you can also spot All Grip badging right there. You also get a wiper wash and also a defogger. You get LED tail lamps right there as well, along with a fiber bumper to top off the rear looks. Also, if you're wondering where the reverse camera on the Maruti Suzuki Jimny, it's actually placed right here below the tire right there, and it's got a pretty wide angle as well for a better view. Now this is all about the design of the Maruti Suzuki Jimny. Now it's time to head inside and show you what this interior is made of. So now we are sitting inside the Jimny, and it is a very familiar place, to be honest, because the steering wheel is from the other Maruti Suzuki models, the infotainment is also from the other Maruti Suzuki models, but the similarities end there, because the dashboard is all new and it is pretty straight up to match that off-road capabilities, and you also get a very good chunky grab handle right here for the co-passenger to hold themselves while you are off-roading and achieving amazing angles. With that, you also get a very scratch-resistant dashboard right here, standing infotainment system. You get a complete climate control right here, along with 2 AC vents on the center and 2 on the either side. You get a tinted glass to keep the sun away, and you get some flip-up style switches right here below the climate control to operate the windows on both the sides, because you don't get a window button on the door, you get it right here, and also a hill descent control button and a traction control button right here. Along with that, you get some cubby spaces down below right here. Behind that is a gear lever. Now this is a manual transmission variant. We have also driven the automatic variant, which will have a little higher up profile for the gear lever. You get a manual parking brake, and this is the Piaster resistance. So this is the hardware for the 4-wheel drive. The transfer case has 3 options: 2 high, where the power will be sent to rear wheels, and 4 high, where it will be sent to all 4 wheels, and finally the 4 low, which will be a low range option for the Jimny. Now with that, let me come to the features of it. You get a 9-inch infotainment system. It features wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which is very convenient and good to have in this price bracket or in this segment. With that, you also get a semi-digital instrument cluster right here with a MID screen placed in the middle, and 2 analog dials, large clean looking analog dials, making you feel very good behind the wheel. Speaking about the wheel, you get a standard steering wheel with mounted controls, telephone and your infotainment system, and also you can control the MID bit from here as well. Now this steering is adjustable for tilt but not telescopic. Finally, coming to the seats, this seat is very familiar as well. Although it is not as bolstered as the ones found in the Baleno, it certainly does have a good cushioning and a good amount of space for you to hold you in your seat while you're off-roading. Before I move on to the rear seat, I would also like to point out that the MID will display a lot of data, range, fuel efficiency and all that, which is pretty standard these days. And along with that, you also have a button on the right side for the headlamp washer, and also for the auto start stop feature right here. Now these are all the features that you can find on the Maruti Suzuki Jimny at the front. Now it's time to check out the space at the back. Let's go. Now I'm sitting at the back of the Jimny, and this certainly is a 4-seater, not a 5-seater, because there is no center lap belt for the middle passenger. So this is a 4-seater, and with that, you don't have much amenities because this is a very small cabin. You do get 2 cup holders right here. You don't even get any sort of armrest. You get some magazine holders at the back. The seat is pretty comfortable. You sit a little bit upright, but there is 2-position recline angle. The seat that you see here is actually in its most upright stance, but you can go ahead and recline it a little bit to give you more comfort. The headrests that are provided are also adjustable, adding to more comfort. And finally, this seat, what you see here, is set as per my height, and you can see I have space to move my knees right here, and I can tuck my feet under the seat, and I have also good amount of headroom as well. So this cabin certainly feels a lot airier, and the rear quarter glass that is there present, that fills in more light to the cabin, making it a lot more airier than what you expected. So as I mentioned earlier, the cabin towards the rear has a very straight up approach. You don't get charging slots or even a charger here, but certainly I think you can add a aftermarket one, and it's pretty accessible from the front, as well as there is a lot of space for the wires to move around. Now it is time to get behind the wheel of the Maruti Suzuki Jimny and tell you everything about how it is off-road, on-road, and how the engine performs. Let's go. So now we are driving the all-new Maruti Suzuki Jimny, and actually I have driven this already. We have sent this car on off-road and on-road as well. And with a smile and grin on my face, you could imagine how happy I was because what I can say is Jimny exceeded my expectation in terms of on-road and off-road performance. Let me start with the basic things right here. It is powered by the 1.5 K Series B engine from Maruti. It produces 105 PS of power and 134 Newton meters of torque. It comes paired with either a 5-speed gearbox or a 4-speed torque converter that Maruti had done away earlier but reintroduced it on the Jimny. Now, along with that transmission options, you also get a full-fledged 4x4 transfer case, which will enable a 4-wheel drive on the Maruti Suzuki Jimny. Let me start with off-road. The Maruti Jimny, you would never expect the 1.5 liter to perform so well, but once it goes into that 4x4, 4 high or even 4 low for that matter of fact, the performance is astounding. The gearbox is in a close ratio at that time, and the engine gives out beautiful amounts of power to get you out of those tricky situations. We had waded waters with it. We took it over a rock bed. We went over fine piece of gravel. Everywhere this car performed, and it performed while having on-road tires. That is the level of performance Jimny is offering when it goes to off-road. The rigid axle certainly does its job. It will maintain a contact patch regardless of the terrain. The ladder-on frame chassis supports very well. And finally, there is a brake limited slip differential as well, which will stop the wheel rotating without any traction and give it to the wheel with more traction to get you out of sticky situations. So all these, along with the hill hold assist and the hill descent control, have fabulously been put together to give you that amazing off-road experience that the Jimny offers. Now, going on to the on-road. Normally, when a rigid axle is associated with a four-wheeler, we think that the ride quality will take a hit when things get smoothened out, like a good piece of tarmac. This is not the case with Jimny because someone at Suzuki has worked their bottom off to ensure that it will deliver a good amount of performance while going on tarmac as well. Things are very comfortable behind the wheel while you're on tarmac. You won't feel that much of a body roll, albeit a tall stance and also a ladder-on frame chassis. On-road performance is also really good. Some of the things that I like about this car, it has a very light clutch. The throws between the gears are really good. You don't have to put much effort, and also you can shift the 4 high on the fly. As well, you don't need to stop the car. Only when you go into 4 low, you would need to stop the car, put the gear into neutral and then slot in, which is fine because you would only use the 4 low during off-road. But 4 high is on the fly, which is very good. Steering is okay because when it comes to rigid axle and suspension, you would not associate the steering with one of the most responsive ones. It is fine. It can really help you in lower speeds, but at triple digit speeds, I would say to be a little more cautious. Along with that, one more Achilles heel that the Jimny faces is the very long turning radius. It is about 5.7 meters. For a car this size, it actually has a very not so good turning radius, which is okay because it's an off-roader. All the while, you will have to get used to that sort of turning radius to improvise going forward when you're driving this car inside the city. Another thing that could have been better is the brake. Although the brakes are good, the travel on the brake pedal is too much. Almost all the things happen at the end of the brake pedal travel because there is nothing happening at the start. So I would not say initial bite is less, but the travel is more. Bite could have been better. The travel could have been lesser for a more usable braking power. All in all, Maruti Suzuki Jimny, if you want to ask me in one word, will it work off-road or on-road? I would say yes, and it works beautifully. Finally, coming to the safety aspect, apart from the hill hold assist and the hill descent control, you get 6 airbags, ABS with ABD, and also traction control, and all the other active and passive safety features are present to ensure that occupants inside the Jimny are safe. Although we don't have a crash test safety rating, we expect the Jimny to fare well when it is tested and results are announced by the GNCAP. So that was our take on the Maruti Suzuki Jimny. We had got a limited time with this vehicle, and we will certainly get this vehicle again and do a more comprehensive review of it. But from the experience what I had off-road and on-road, I was certainly blown away with how this engine performs. It met my expectations and exceeded it, is what I would like to say. The ride is very comfortable despite having a rigid axle, and that certainly makes it a lot more usable in city where it is mostly intended to be used by the buyers. With that, there will be one hitch, and that is the pricing. Now the Jimny will go up against the Mahindra Thar, which is also due for an upgrade for a 5-door version, but as of now the Jimny will have a straight up advantage on the 3-door version of the Thar, and we are expecting the Jimny to be priced somewhere around 11 lakh to 15 lakh for the top spec automatic model. But what did you think? Would you choose Jimny to be your next city and also off-road car? Let us know in the comments below. Like and share this video, and do subscribe to Drive Spark if you haven't done it already. This is Bharadwaj, and that is the Maruti Suzuki Jimny finally in the Indian market.